Hi everybody, it's been a long time. I'm going to try making this video one more time. Um, this last year was really intense. I lost both of my dogs. They were senior dogs, so it was to be expected, but it didn't mean that it hurt any less, right? I lost both Adam and Jeffrey. They're rescue dogs. They came with those names. They're corgi mixes and part of our household for a very long time. And I miss the boys pretty much every day. They died within months of each other, and they're brothers. So, and then last year there was a lot of up and down with different types of things going on in my family relating to health all around myself, my father, and my mother. And now my mom's in at-home hospice with end-stage Alzheimer's, and the American healthcare system is not very great when it comes to helping people during the best of times. And by the best of times, I mean like minimal damage to your body, let alone if it's something absolutely devastating like Alzheimer's. Um, Beforehand, we didn't get any respite care that was subsidized like at all. And now, because it's hospice, at home hospice, we get respite care like once a week, 2 hours. So, Murica, I don't know. Anyway, so there's been a lot of grief and sadness in this household the last year or so. With that, there came a few victories, things like me continuing to work on my PhD, right? Getting hired on by the department to do independent research on a semester to semester basis. I mean, yeah, I still have my supervisor, and of course, I have some objectives and things like that, which is understandable because they're paying me. But that was great. So I have a job again. That's been very helpful. And um, additionally, my fish, who's a Chinese algae eater, Laguna, will be turning like 10 years old this year. And I just did a foster to adopt a dog that was found in rural desert area to see if she could adapt to where I live. Okay. And she seems fine with it. So I did adopt her, and her name is Serena, and she's a chocolate lab, like a Labrador Retriever, and she is lovely. And we'll see if she has what it takes to be my service slash assistant dog. They're the same thing, just different title. Not the same as an ESA. They're different rights and privileges that ESAs don't have. And there's some places in town that are reputable that do excellent training with that and will allow you to have your own dog. But she needs to pass temperament test and some other things like that, and a lot of intensive coursework. And there's no guarantee, right? So if you don't know anything about the process of obtaining a service slash assistance dog, especially in the United States, it's very costly and it takes a long time. Um, and lately I've just been on like wait lists and or not able to afford it, so I've had to like shelve it, and I've needed one for years. If she can't do that, she's a lovely lady, and I'm sure that someday she'll get along with another dog. She's quite social. She wants to play. She's still like, she's not even 2 years old, and just very, very smart. So no matter what, even if she doesn't want to do that, because that's a vocation too for an animal. It's just like with people, not everybody's suited for a certain vocation. So instead, I'll may have her do the AKC Good Citizen test, or some agility, which I don't know if I can run to keep up with her, but we'll see, or some kind of competition stuff, whether she ends up being a frisbee dog or whatever. So she's bringing me joy during a really hard time emotionally. In fact, this semester I'm cutting back on some of my stuff just because I need room to deal with grief. But it's funny because as I did that, it's like now I have dog to train, and then I have like other things that came up on some like extra workshops or classes I can take relating to kind of what I joke is the woo-woo stuff, like complementary and alternative medicine related stuff and meditational stuff that came up. And I was like, oh, of course, go back to part-time, and then like that because pulls me in. So you make room for one thing, and the other thing is like, now I have room to be here, which doesn't always happen, but it can happen in life. Also, not a fan of toxic positivity as a disabled person, like a person with disability. Yeah, it's not, no amount of positive thinking is going to make that disappear, unless you believe in like, the universe or God or whoever you want to call them, to be like, hey, so I'm going to yeet that out of you, which I think is possible somehow. Quantum physics, maybe, I don't know. Switch timelines. But that like it's improbable and not scientifically proven. So yeah. Um, I'm sure I'm going to start a huge online argument with that. I don't really care. It's fine. People need to have room to discuss that online because, quite frankly, in most people's friend circles, you're not going to talk about those things. You should, but you're probably not going to because it has to do with the foundation of how you view existence. As you can see, the last year or so relating to death and dying, hospice care, I've had to do a lot of thinking about those things, and you're forced to confront it, death and healing and life and such as a continual process, or however you want to figure that out for yourself when you live in that situation in the same building as someone who's going through the dying process. So, is it? I have had a lot happen in the last year. Some good, some very, very painful. Additionally, our car has been on the fritz for like all of the last year, so we almost died of heat stroke multiple times last year because thanks, Vegas. I'm glad that you added a bus line or two different places, or I'd never get to go anywhere. And yeah, so it was it was a lot. As for this channel, I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do. I could do pop culture stuff. I am watching Trigun Stampede, and I'm watching the Ice. Was it the Ice? Was it the Ice guy and his cool female colleague? Yeah. And last year, yeah. Last season, I was watching The Raven in the Inner Palace and Call of the Night and Akiba Maid Wars and stuff like that. I really enjoyed the Maid War anime. It was absurd. It was one of the main reasons I got into anime in the first place. It's kooky, weird stuff like that, and I just enjoyed it. Ah, it was great. That's on High Dive if it's in your region there. Not on Crunchy. So I've also been watching the Chucky series. They have the second season. I have not watched Interview with the Vampire, the new one yet. I will eventually, but my life has been so full of tragedy lately. Me knowing what I do about that story as well as I do, I'm like, you know what? Eventually. But right now, my life is so no. Mayfair Witches, I also want to watch. AMC is doing that. And I haven't kept up with any news for Thunderbolt Fantasy. Also, for us Sayuki fans, oh, I was so happy to have a Sayuki anime last year. That was awesome. And your boy Kong Ming was also great. So, that being said, I'm still my nerdy self. It's that enthusiasm's still in here. It's just life's been a little tough. Okay, by little I mean a lot. So thank you for listening to this. I may do videos about Vegas. I'm not sure if I do. It will be different than the usual touristy ones. It's kind of like, what do you do if you come to Vegas but you don't party? Why would you still come here? I would know. So I maybe would share that with you all and some things that I know about here that you could still go do and hopefully have a good time. Uh, yeah. So y'all take care as you're able. Just keep on keeping on if you can. I'm rooting for you, even if no one else is. Somebody's got to, right? So we'll see what I come up with in the following videos. I'm not going to give up on this channel because it is fun and I do miss making them. And I miss making them for you. So, all right, I'm going to sign off. Eclectic Entries out.